Trail FX allows you to create mesmerizing trails effortlessly without any knowledge of Blender's geometry nodes. In the previous Getting Started video, we took a look at how to install Trail FX and how to use the Trail Blade FX. In this video, we will look at some of these other Blade FX types. I have a similar project like before with a knight, and I already created a trail reference object. So let's start with this Trail Blade Particles effect. I drag and drop the effect to the scene and hit Alt G and Alt R to reset the location and rotation. In the modifiers tab, you can see the Trail Blade Particles modifier. I select the trail reference object, and immediately you can see glowing particles on the sword blade. When I hit play, particles will spawn as the sword moves. I turn off the overlays and adjust the bloom amount a bit. You can change the particle spawning amount per frame and their max age. Here you can add randomness to that age. If I set this trail substeps amount to 0 and play, you can see particles spawning only on the sword blade at each frame. What this substep amount does is, it looks at where the particles spawn at the previous frame and distribute the new particles in between the new sword location and the previous location, reducing the gap, giving an illusion of particles spawning at every point along the path. I set it to 0.5 and it distributes on half of that path, and a value of 1 distributes throughout that path. Depending on the look you are after, you can pick the value you want. After that, here in the movement section, you can add some noise to the particle's position. This noise movement happens after the simulation in this effect, so you can see a real-time view of it. You can add a positive or negative gravity amount to accelerate the particles to go up or down. Here in the shape section, I can change the particle size, and also I can introduce some randomness to it. Then I have the option to change how the particle's radius changes throughout the particle's lifetime. I can set it to linear to gradually reduce it to 0, or I can set it to constant to make no change. And I also have a few other options to play with. I'll increase the particles amount to 100. I'll come to the other settings later. But you can see, just like before, we can change the particles color and glow strength from here. Now what if I want to have a custom particle shape instead of these icospheres? Well, I can enable this custom particle and select a collection containing the particle shapes. In Trail FX version 2, I have added some custom shapes to get you started. So here at the bottom of the hierarchy, you can see the custom particle collections section. Here you will have 3 custom shapes. I dragged and dropped this hearts collection into the scene. Alt G to reset the location. It is imported as a collection instance. There are 3 heart shapes here overlapping at the moment. Now in the trail blade particles, I select hearts collection. Make sure to enable custom particles. Now if you take a closer look, you can see the spheres change to hearts, and it uses the current particles material. But if you want, you can use the custom particles own material. For that, enable this use custom particles material in the material section. Now the particles use their material. This is perfect if you want to introduce something like random color to the particles, like here. You can also rotate these particles. You can change its speed from here. Particle rotations only work for custom particles because there's no point in rotating spheres. And that's it for trail blade particles. I disable it and let's take a look at another FX type. In version 2, we introduced 3 new liquid trail effects. Let's see the first one. Drag and drop it and reset the location. Just like before, select the trail reference. And we have liquid particles trail. I changed the color to something not red. YouTube sometimes get confused. Just like before, we have similar particle settings up top. And this time this movement section affects the simulation, so you need to refresh the simulation to see the results in action. Then I'll jump to meshing section. Here you can change the particles scale. Then you have density and voxel size, which controls the process of converting particles into mesh. Remember, lower voxel values increase the conversion resolution, and since it asks for more performance, I highly recommend not to decrease it by big amounts at once. Then you can subdivide the mesh to smooth the mesh surface. Just like the previous radius flow, here you can change the flow of the meshed particles. In the materials, you can change the color of the liquid and its roughness. If you want, you can add glow to it as well. Just like in the trail blade materials, here in the materials tab in liquid materials custom properties, I can change the IOR value. In 𝒕𝒉𝒐𝒐, you can change this thickness to get a different refraction look. We provide you with 2 slightly different liquid materials. The second one has some volume to it. Might not be visible that much in EV, but in cycles, you can see good refraction and volume in both materials. Now I go back to EV and let's take a look at the collision. First thing first, you have to select the collision surface. Here I select this flow mesh named BG. Now when I hit play, we need to increase the animation range. You can see particles sticking to the flow. This collision quality controls the calculation steps. You can add an offset to the collision surface from here. That's probably too low. I set it to 0.5, half a meter. Now particles stick to half a meter above the collision surface. I set it back to 0. We have 2 collision types. First, true collision. This calculates the distance between particles and collision surface to calculate the collision. If I hit play and go below the ground, you can see some particles miss the collision and fall through the flow. You can reduce that amount by increasing collision quality, but that asks for more performance. So I have introduced true plus normal collision, which will help you to keep the quality low and keep every particles above the surface. It looks at the collision surface face normals and prevents particles from going to its negative range. That's it for liquid particles, and let's take a look at another effect. I put Trail Blade Smoke Sprites into the scene. Reset the location and select the trail reference. When I hit play, you can see this smoke effect. In solid view, they are just mesh planes, which means this effect only looks good from one angle. This is sprite rendering. The sprites are always oriented to face the camera. That way you will not see that this is a 2D effect. This has been a common technique in game development for years. So to see this correctly, you need to look from your camera. Right now I don't have a camera in the scene, so let's add one. I hit Ctrl-Alt-0 to align it to the view and adjust it to fit the scene. you can see all the mesh planes are pointing towards the active camera. When I change the camera location and rotation, the cards orient themselves to face it. But in render view, when viewed from the camera, you can see it looks just right. Just like previous particle settings, you have very similar parameters to control, so I won't go into details that much. Here in the materials, instead of glow, you can change the smoke color and its transparency. These sprites-based effects work in both Eevee and cycles, but in cycles you will need to increase the transparent bounces to a very high number to get rid of black parts, which might not be suitable in most cases. So you will probably have to render this separately in Eevee and combine it with your cycles render in the compositing stage. And that's it for this video. If you haven't checked Trail FX, you can do so from Blender Market and Gumroad. Thanks for watching.